Okay, we are live on Facebook, I believe. We were going to jump into a Facebook Q&A today, but unfortunately, it's not Monday for a start. We were going to do that yesterday, and unfortunately, we're all out with customers, so couldn't do our Facebook Q&A. But we decided to do something a little bit different today, where we would jump on and talk to one of our candidates in our network, and we're going to talk to one of our candidates I've known for a long time, who's a program manager. His name's John Melton. He's kindly agreed to appear on a bit of a Q&A with us. And I thought it'd be really good for people to understand a little bit about what a program manager does, a little bit of their background, of course, and what it takes to be a great program manager, and also the challenges they have. John's been in the industry for many, many years, worked predominantly in the telecoms network, but I thought it'd be a great chance to have a chat with him. So I'm going to sit down, we're going to give him a call on Skype, and we're going to have a conversation. So let's see if we can call up John. Magic of Skype. Here we go.
Hi, David.
Hey, John. Welcome. Thanks for joining me.
No problem.
Thank you.
Technology worked.
It's amazing, and sometimes this is half the battle. I remember setting up lots of interviews, and this is the crucial part where sometimes interviews don't go well for customers.
Yes.
So I think these days most people are tending to use things like Zoom bridges. So I think it's a little bit easier now, but it's still getting people together at the same time is always a challenge, isn't it?
Yep.
John,
Yep.
Thank you for joining me. I'd love just to talk a little bit about your background, because you've got a fascinating history. You've been in the game for, I don't know, 20 plus years now, 25, maybe a bit longer, I shouldn't say that.
Depressingly longer than that.
Well, there you go. But anyway, you're a young man, and you tell us a bit about Virgin Mobile, I should say, because you were part of the first MVNO. Is that right? World's first.
That's right. Yep. So one of the first 6 people that launched that. So I've been involved in 4 mobile launches in my career, but I think definitely the launch of Virgin Mobile in the UK was the most exciting. So we kicked off in early '99 with 6 of us in a room in a Regus building in Euston. And by the time we got to Christmas, we got the business up and running with a fully functioning call centre and about 30,000 customers. So, I mean, that was hard work, but it was a lot of fun as well. And without a doubt, I think one of the most exciting projects has ever been in telecoms.
This was just prior to, I remember, I think we talked about before in the past, one-to-one, where I think you used to go in the pub and people would give you their mobile phone and say you can make free calls. Do you remember that? I think it was around that time.
Yeah, we'll forget that one, okay? Free off-peak local calls, yes. That wasn't my idea. In fact, I was one of the poor people that got told about it 24 hours before we launched and had to try and get it working.
What was the biggest challenge in bringing that all together when you did obviously launched the world's first MVNO?
Well, sadly, the biggest challenge was actually getting the contract sorted between the operator and which was one-to-one. It was one-to-one in those days, now part of EE. So it was getting a contract signed between Virgin and one-to-one. Mm-hmm. So we kicked off with 6 of us in January, and come June, the contract still wasn't signed. And I remember one infamous lunchtime, it was a very nice sunny day. Myself and a guy called Tom Jeffries, who I still keep in touch with occasionally on LinkedIn. He was on the one-to-one side. I was sitting within the Virgin Mobile, trying to get the contract sorted. Basically, we'd got until the end of the day to sort it, but obviously we made it. We got the contract signed. After that, it really was just hard work, but a lot of excitement. It was 16-hour days, sometimes more than 5 days a week, just to get the business up and running. And literally, we walked into the building in Trowbridge, which was to be the office for several years. In August, and the floor tiles were still up and no cabling, and we had the whole thing up and running as a fully functional call centre by October.
Amazing.
A crazy few months.
John, you've worked all over the world. I know you've got a few good stories from your days in Canada as well. But I wanted to talk about some of the stuff that you've obviously worked. I know as a CTO in Hungary. Was it Hungary?
Bulgaria.
Bulgaria. I do apologise. Yeah. Bulgaria. What do you see in the world today in terms of the challenges telecoms operators are facing today, as opposed to that they were facing maybe 5 or 10 years ago? What's the challenges that you see, particularly when running large transformation programs?
Right. Okay. I mean, let's go back a bit further than that. I mean, really look at the challenges when I first joined, the mobile industry, going through Virgin Mobile launch and so on.
Yeah.
It was just managing the growth.
Yeah.
That was. I always remember when we first started what became one-to-one. It's like every 3 months you were doing a business plan, and always the good news was we're going to have even more customers. The bad news is we need even more money. And it was like that for a long while. So, it was just managing the growth. Now the big change, of course, is it's much more mature. There's still new things coming along.
Yeah.
In the end, it's much more now about managing a mature operation and managing the costs.
And what's about the you talk about that? What about the challenges? You see this quite a lot. The organisations have with their vendor relations, and how do they manage those intricate relationships, particularly when relationships don't go, or the delivery or the communication is perhaps not in the best place. How do they overcome those challenges?
I think it's always been a struggle, and I'm not sure that the struggle much now. Got a big program, or you keep freezing occasionally, so hopefully we're not going to lose the signal.
Yeah.
I mean, when you've got a big program, I think the things that are essential to be a success in delivering the program really haven't changed. And we can talk about those a bit if you want, but I honestly think the relationship with the suppliers. Okay, before it was perhaps more urgency to get things done quickly.
Yeah.
Now maybe more a focus on reducing costs.
Yeah.
But the main issues around being successful in working with suppliers are mostly the same.